The NCAA is using Trinidad Chambliss for their own benefit, but do they actually care about the player? We're going to talk to the mayor of Corinth, Tom Vanderford, and find out what the fan perspective is in all of this.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, the most watched Ole Miss podcast out there. I'm your host, Stephen Willis, a 10-year veteran member of the national media with Yahoo Sports and a former Ole Miss football staff member. We're proud to be a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network in America. That's all because of you taking in content like this, and we can't be more appreciative of that. On today's show, we'll talk about the NCAA using Trinidad Chambliss to try and get an antitrust exemption and what the fans think about that. We'll talk about Louisville and the game being moved to September 6th, and we will talk about spring practice a little bit. All of that and more coming up today on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Remember, we're free and available in all the podcast apps and on YouTube, and a special hello to the insiders and everydayers who make this show what it is, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into a bigger potential win with college basketball parlay profit boost. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. So the NCAA, on the eve of the big, massive summit of saving college sports, tried to get some headlines by filing their appeal in this situation on Trinidad Chambliss. Now, Tom, my question to you is, do you as a fan, and we're not like serious people when it comes to legal matters and all that, but do you think there's any chance in the world the NCAA pulls this off, or are they just doing this as a PR stunt?
That would be option B, Steve. I think all but one of the Supreme Court justices in Mississippi either did undergrad at Ole Miss or went to Ole Miss Law School. So I think they're just wasting their time, especially when the average person can look and see that they have given another year of eligibility to somebody for their 9th year. Mm-hmm. I liken this to back when we almost got the death penalty over somebody sleeping on somebody's couch. Anytime Ole Miss gets super relevant, you've got the old blue bloods of the SEC that try to derail us. Mm-hmm. No doubt in my mind, this is an LSU thing. No doubt in my mind. You know, I've always been one of the more casual observers, and it's obvious to me.
You know, one thing that's interesting, you do hear a lot of the noise coming out of Baton Rouge, which that's to be expected because of the whole Lane Kiffin thing. Yeah. I'm surprised at the amount of noise coming out of Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one that got my attention. It's like, okay, I mean, I think they will never admit it. They will never admit this, but they don't think they can beat Ole Miss with Trinidad Chambliss as quarterback.
I think you're right. And you know, we've got both of them in Oxford this year, if I'm correct. And I think you're right. I think, you know, Kirby probably got a little butt hurt when he didn't get our receiver and he went to Missouri. But I think the main reason is that he knows we can beat him.
Mm-hmm. It could. It's so funny to see people online getting mad at Ole Miss, and they're almost trying to wish cast. They're trying to speak it into existence that Ole Miss has a downfall because they don't like the direction that all of this is going. And, you know, we're going to talk about it a little bit later on in the show, but this roster is deep. It is good. It legitimately good. It's better than 2025. Probably not as good as 2024, but that's only just because we don't know if Will Eccles can be Walter Nolan in 2026. That's what we're talking about. And we know he's going to be good. He was the Sugar Bowl defensive MVP. We don't know if he's going to be Walter Nolan.
Oh yeah, he's something else. He's a talent.
So the summit that's happening on Capitol Hill, and to just anybody that's listening to this, nobody here cares about the summit. What we care about are two very specific things that could be a result of this. First of all, Cody Campbell and his guys and the Smash Sports guys are trying to get it to where they pass a law repealing or changing or amending the 1961 Sports Broadcasting Act to where you can pull media rights between conferences. If that happens, in my opinion, the SEC and the Big Ten, they're going to go. They will be gone. But that is one of the things they're trying to accomplish. And the other thing is antitrust for the NCAA, which basically means the NCAA can do whatever they want. They can rule with an iron fist. They are not accountable for their actions. For instance, we understand that Mississippi State fans would be upset about the Ole Miss situation with Trinidad Chambliss. That makes sense. It's a tribal thing, college sports. But do you know that Mississippi State just found out maybe a couple of weeks ago that they had a D2 athlete that was going for a medical red shirt and it got denied? Similar, exact same situation. Why are there different rules for a red shirt at one level than another? Why is every student athlete under your umbrella forced to prove things at different levels? It's borderline illegal, and I think it's confusing on purpose.
Oh, I agree. And I just think that the Blue Bloods don't want anybody else in interfering in their property, and the NCAA basically represents the Blue Bloods. Let's face it.
Yeah, the joke on the famous Jerry Tarkanian joke is the NCAA was so furious about Kentucky basketball cheating, they put Cleveland State on 3 more years of probation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the world we live in. We are dealing with a corrupt organization that has been allowed to bloat, that makes a ton of money based off of March Madness, and they are desperate to try and regain control because let's be honest about this for a second, okay? If they do not get an antitrust exemption, which only baseball has that, only baseball's been able to push that through, and that's because a judge back in the 1920s was a baseball fan over a certain thing. So in this situation, they're not likely to get it. But if they don't get it, they're going to die within 10 years. They're not going to be any more because they will be completely neutered by what's going on because they've allowed, with inconsistent rulings and inconsistent rules and the way they've acted, they've done this to themselves. And now schools are just like, okay, this is the only place we can play high-level sports at, so we have to have them, but we are going to fight everything. And honestly, they should fight everything.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I'll be honest with you, what you mentioned earlier, I think everybody that's a sports fan knows that this ends up with the SEC and the Big Ten starting their own deal and saying, see you later, NCAA.
Yeah, and it's also see you later, Big 12 and ACC, because they're kind of leading this behind the scenes. You know, the billionaire from Texas Tech that is overpaying for everybody in the NIL space, that is one of the people most responsible for what he is saying is breaking college football. Right. Basically what he's trying to do is bring the SEC and the Big Ten down, raise up the other two power conferences so Texas Tech can be relevant. But yeah, I don't know if that's possible because in his proposal, and I've said this a couple of times, they anticipate $7 billion a year in media rights. That was after they stagger stepped it up. But the average is $7 billion a year. That comes out to $51 million per school. And that is fantastic for 95 schools in the country. That is a $20 million haircut for the Big Ten and the SEC.
And they listen, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it. They're going to say, see ya. And they'll start their own version of the NCAA.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be, well, you know what? We'll talk about that in the next segment with Tom Vanderford, the mayor of Corinth, in just a second. When we come back, what does an SEC Big Ten Super Conference look like if everything goes this way? We'll talk about that. We'll get on to spring football, and we will talk about the Louisville game, which moved into a Sunday. All that on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. You know, college basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night, from early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts. There's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into a bigger potential win with college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want, rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever you are thinking. You can mix spreads, totals, player props, and match how the slate is playing out. Then you can look at the profit boost and apply it instantly to bump up that potential payout. Look at odds around the country. Look at what's going on and make your decision. You can go safe. You can go bold. You can ride with your team that you've been following all season long. It is your parlay, your style. Now with more upside behind it, head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. And it's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is, well, a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not really the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, and just wondering if they actually understand your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents, well, they get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Hey, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcatcher you're listening to and give it a 5-star review. That's an audio thing only. It costs absolutely nothing, but keeps all of this free. Thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in America. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayer Club. You get access to an audio feed that is ad-free for Locked On Ole Miss, compatible with Apple, Spotify, wherever you basically listen to your podcast. You get an invite to a members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server. We're doing a little something different there, and you also will get an invite to my own private Locked On Ole Miss server. That's awesome stuff. And it also includes a group chat just for this show to where you can get news and information sent to your phone. We haven't really learned how to use that yet effectively other than in football time. So we're going to try and figure that out as well. So go to lockedonolemist.supercast.com or tap the link down in the show notes below to learn more. All right, so let's say that Cody Campbell does what he needs to do. He greases the right palms, whatever happens, and they pass the Sports Broadcasting Act. It is of my opinion that the SEC and the Big Ten at that moment need to just like see you. All the sports, everything, just completely back out. And right there, you have 35 teams situated to go, ready to go for this new breakaway league. And I would go a little bit further than that. I would add 10 more brands or so. I would maybe try and get to 48 and create a organization of 48 of the biggest brands in all of college football, bringing North Carolina, Kansas, basically just nuke March Madness.
Yeah.
What's going on. Those brands are the ones that are out there right now, and make March Madness essentially a Big East invitational tournament. Now, I do not think right now with what's going on, I would invite Texas Tech, because if you're going to put the SEC and the Big Ten through all this, ask Georgia Tech what it's like whenever you tick off the people inside of a conference. So I think you're looking at 48 teams. Notre Dame going to the Big Ten, Clemson, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida State, Miami, they come over. There's going to be a lot of big brands that get brought into the fold. I think you go after Arizona and Arizona State. I think that is the way for Ole Miss, or for the SEC and Big Ten.
I agree. If they want to, it's death by 1,000 cuts for the NCAA. Either way they go, they're screwing themselves, actually.
Yeah, and remember, once somebody goes after your money, once they take the step of literally going after your money, they don't stop when you say no the first time. They just find a different way to go after your money. So once this has started, it's going to continue, and you're going to be fighting off those attacks for the rest of your existence unless you nip it in the bud.
Yeah. I think that the ADs at the top schools, the top 48 schools, their job is to do their due diligence to protect their universities. So I think it's just, if that's the way it goes, that'll happen rather quickly, like you said.
Yeah, and you're looking, in my opinion, a 24-team Big Ten, a 24-team SEC. Right now, they sit at 16 in the SEC. That would be 8 teams coming in the SEC. The Big Ten is at 18 or 19, so another 6 or so teams coming in there. And the way it's situated, in my opinion, what I would do is within the SEC structure, you bring back divisions. You bring back, so it's 2 11-team divisions, and that's what you're essentially playing.
Right.
That is most of your schedule. That's 10 of your games.
Yeah.
And you figure out a way to make it work for the other type stuff. That's what I would do. Maybe you can even split it up to where the SEC, if they get 24 teams, there's 4 6-team pods.
Right.
And you set it up where there's some sort of rotation. They will figure that out. But what I am absolutely positive on, if Cody Campbell and his ilk think that they can get $7 million or $7 billion for media rights per year, the SEC and the Big Ten alone, plus 10 to 14 extra teams, whatever the number is, that could command at a minimum 5 by itself. And it would be $120 million per team for something like that to happen. It just makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It absolutely just makes sense. And also, the reason we say 48 teams is because they're going to have their year-end tournament, and everybody's going to get into it.
Oh,
all 48 teams, and you're going to play a tournament March Madness style.
Exactly. That would be wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have Ole Miss. Ole Miss has not had a good year. Okay. Nobody thinks that Ole Miss has had a good year this year. In the basketball court, they have struggled.
Yeah.
But if they're playing Michigan in the first round, that's the number 1 seed. Let's say number 1 and number 48. If that's your first round game, that's still better than the 116 games.
Oh, definitely.
So I think it would work. It would eliminate Selection Sunday, and you would still have the national championship that you expect. You have to figure out a way to make the regular season meaningful, since you're not playing to be good enough to get in, but it's something that they can work on a little bit later. All right. So when we come back, we're going to talk to the mayor about spring football, about the Louisville game. We are going to try and have a little bit of fun talking about that. It should be lots to talk about. So stick around. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, and inboxes overflowing. This is one more position that you have to fill that you haven't filled that is sitting open right now. When the pressure's on and you need to make the right hire, this is a job for Sponsored Jobs. Indeed, Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, skills, experience, locations, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like you have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed stats worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who actually check all of your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching. That would be really great, right? When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is the job for Indeed sponsored job. And listeners to this podcast will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your job earn the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about it here on Indeed. So Indeed.com/podcast, terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And welcome to the 5-Hour Energy Flavor Draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, and Cotton Candy. There's something for everybody. The board is set. The flavors are ready. And I've got my number one pick for the 5-Hour Energy Draft. And I get made fun of it. Chris Marler from Locked On Gamecocks loves to give me crap about it because I'm just going to go with grape. It's one of the OG flavors. It is a flavor that no matter which drugstore, convenience store, whatever's going on, you can find that flavor. So it's going to be the number one draft pick for me, just on the fact that you know it is going to be there. Listen, there's sleepers that you can go through. I like pomegranate as well. It's got a nice little tangy kick to it. And you've got these sweet tooth flavors in Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, and Cotton Candy. And hey, zero sugar, even though it's that sweet, it's pretty good. So you also still have your berry flavor, which, if for those who remember, for those old enough to get it, it was the OG flavor with 5-Hour Energy. So interesting. 5-Hour Energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar. They have lots of upcoming flavor innovations planned. And I kind of want to see a cherry limeade flavor. I don't know why. I just want a cherry limeade flavor. So find your new favorite flavor at 5hourenergyshots.com, available online at 5hourenergy.com or at Amazon. All right, Tommy. So spring practice starts March 23rd. They're getting ready. They might do some acclimation days and move them up a couple of days into the week before, but the 23rd is the date that was put out by On3. And the big news was they moved the Ole Miss Louisville game to Sunday. It's going to be on ABC at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And that's a win-win because, listen, you can say what you want. The Monday game, people are tired by the time it gets there that night. The Saturday game is like sensory overload. There's football all over the place. On Sunday, there's one, maybe two games. You can sit back, you can relax. Ole Miss and Louisville, I think that's a good spot that is going to help out everybody.
Primetime ABC always is good.
Yeah. Now the question is going to be, and a lot of it has to do with who has the primetime game on ABC on Saturday. But do you think that's Fowler and Herb Street?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, because Louisville's going to be good. I think every year that Jeff Brom has been at Louisville, they've won 9 games. They beat Miami a year ago. I mean, we saw exactly that Miami team and what it looks like. So it's going to be a pretty good matchup, and it's one of those sneaky matchups in week 1 that you kind of need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, we're not playing, Louisiana Monroe. We're playing a team that
or Clemson.
Great coach. Pardon?
Or Clemson.
Yeah, or Clemson. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Yeah, I didn't really have anything against Clemson until all this crap. And it's like, dude, that's just the world we live in now. Live with it, quit whining.
I heard something, I think it was on Michael Borky's podcast, and I can't verify it. But I heard it, and it kind of makes sense that all of this just kind of went away. If you notice, it just went away.
Oh yeah.
But apparently Ole Miss has some stuff tampering on Clemson.
Oh yeah. Well, the fact they got from SMU, I'm sure there was some funny business there.
Yeah, it should be interesting. But yeah, everybody tampers. If you don't tamper, you lose. And I don't think, just joking at Dabo right now, I don't think Dabo knows how the sausage is made, honestly.
Maybe he's one of those coaches that, out of sight, out of mind. Don't tell me, just do what you got to do. I want these guys. I believe that's the way Saban was. Saban said, I want these guys. I don't want to know what you're doing to get them. Just make it happen.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense. Anyway, what do you have going on this weekend, this Sunday morning at your house, bub?
Oh, dude, just relaxing with family. Just going to try to enjoy the weekend as I always do. Life's short. You never know. So I'm just going to try to relax and take it easy.
Awesome. That's awesome. Tom Vanderford, the mayor of Corinth, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week, bud.
Hey, thanks, man. Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy. Thanks for tuning in today to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. We're going to continue to talk transfer portal, spring football season, the Trinidad case, the whole 9 yards for the next week or so. So make sure you subscribe and follow the show so you get all the latest episodes. We're also on all the social channels, so check that out as well. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Ole Miss ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedonolemmiss.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we're going to send you to the first ever 24/7 national Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen Locked On College Football. Hotty toddy, everybody. We will talk to you later. This has been the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. See you tomorrow.